Just play the damn thing.
So if you follow this channel at all, you're probably aware that I love overdrive pedals. I love distortion pedals too, but well, one, this video is about overdrive pedals, and two, with overdrive pedals, they just offer a little bit extra, just that extra touch of versatility that distortion pedals don't quite give you. And that versatility being that they are designed specifically to blend well and coexist with other gain stages in the signal path, whereas distortion pedals seem to like clean signals a whole lot better. Though again, there is something to be said for that as well. We'll do another video on that some other time. But for today's video, I thought that it would be fun to put together a list of my favorite overdrive pedals, at least the overdrive pedals that I currently own. Yes, I own a lot more overdrive pedals than the ones that you are going to see in this video, but these are the ones that just stand out to me as ones that, if I'm going to grab one, if I'm building a pedal board, which of these, these are the ones that I would choose from. So, without further ado, let's check out some overdrives. Number 8 is probably the one that is the most recent addition to my pedal collection, and that is the WAudio Fundamental Drive. This is out of their new Fundamental series. If you're not familiar with this, a lot of boutique pedal companies, Wampler, Walrus Audio, I think Keeley's got a couple of them out now. Some of the bigger boutique companies, if you can still call them boutique, that's another argument for another day. They're coming out with more pedals that are more in the $100 to in this case, $100 to $129 range, $99 to $129 range, which is a little bit more affordable price point compared to most of their other pedals. And frankly, it's a good idea for those companies to be doing so. Well, the Fundamental series is Walrus Audio's entrance into that arena. And this is the overdrive pedal out of that series. This is a very, very cool pedal. It's got 3 different overdrive modes on it. I actually asked Walrus Audio when I ordered these, and I did spend my own money on these. I actually asked Walrus Audio what type of overdrive circuit is this based on, and all they told me was it's based on several, and they wouldn't reveal anything else other than that. So, the Walrus Audio Fundamental Drive. Number 7 on this list is the Blackstar HT Duel. This pedal, unfortunately, is not made anymore. Most pedal companies that come out with a line of pedals are most likely going to have an overdrive pedal in said line of pedals. And that overdrive pedal, 90-something% of the time, seems like it is a variation on the now infamous Tube Screamer circuit. And this one, of course, is no different. This is Blackstar's Tube Screamer answer to their now discontinued HT series pedals that were out back in the mid-2000s. This thing is a tank. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. It does take up a lot of real estate. The other drawback to it is it requires that stupid 22-volt power input that is compatible with nothing else. So you have to get a hold of it. And if you happen to get a hold of a pedal that doesn't have that power supply, you can get aftermarket ones on Amazon for like 20-something bucks. They're out there. But once you overcome those 2 hurdles, man, does this thing sound good. It's even got 2 different channels on it that you could set up for 2 different overdrives, should you need to do so. And it blends well with a lot of different amps. Oh, and last but not least, it's actually tube driven. It's got a preamp tube. right there in the middle of it. Number 6 is a pedal called the Crush Overdrive from a company called X Gear. I'm not sure X Gear is even in business anymore. They used to be pretty prominent on Amazon, and again, whole line of pedals. And they don't seem to be out there on Amazon nearly as much as they used to. I think the last time I looked for this one, they also had a metal distortion pedal in the same line called the Max Metal, and one or both of those I had a tough time finding last time I went to look for them years ago. So I'm not sure that they're even still around, but if you look hard enough, you can probably find them. Anyway, this is, I believe, a take on the OCD Overdrive, from Fulltone. Of course, there's been several different versions of that pedal. Get to more of that here in a second. But this is definitely a higher gain overdrive, but it's really, really versatile, and it could even double as a distortion if you need to. This one sounds killer. This is the Crush Overdrive. Number 5. Now, everybody knows the Ibanez Tube Screamer. It's by far the most popular overdrive pedal out there on the market, and I think it even also carries the title as the most popular pedal ever in existence, right? Everybody knows the Tube Screamer, and Ibanez has been making it for 5 decades now. I think it's been around since the 70s. Ibanez, of course, themselves have produced several different versions of the Tube Screamer over the years. The TS9, I believe, is probably the most popular, and is still in production today. However, I prefer the TS9DX. This is the model called the Turbo Tube Screamer, and this one, of course, has a TS9 mode in it, so if it's just the regular TS9 sound that you're after, it can do that. But it's also got a few other stops above that on the mode control right there, if you really wanted to bump up and get into some really high gain territory. Again, makes it pretty conducive for a really cool distortion pedal rather than an overdrive, should you want to use it in that matter as well. This one has 4 gain modes, the TS9 actually being the lowest of the 4. It has TS9 plus, has a hot mode, and then the highest output mode is called Turbo. Quick taste of the Ibanez TS9 DX and why you should start using this over the regular TS9. Number 4. Speaking of tube screamers, tons of other companies have come out with their own version of the tube screamer slash tube screamer circuit, whatever you want to call it. One of the best ones out there that I have ever gotten my hands on is the Direwolf Overdrive from Highwind Amplification. This one is I believe it's a collaboration between Jordan from Highwind and Tony Peppers of Peppers Pedals. And we'll get to Peppers Pedals here in a minute. But this is, like I said, this is my favorite tube screamer pedal. And you can see it's got, 4 knobs and 4 switches on it that do all kinds of stuff. The knobs are pretty standard. Those are level, drive, tone, and then the 4th knob. This one here is it's called blend, but it's the mini toggle switches where this thing gets interesting. And this is bite, growl, mode, and boost. And when you buy this pedal, it comes with this diagram in the box. Hopefully you can see that. And it basically tells you exactly what all 8 of these controls do, specifically the switches, because you can get a lot of different tonal variations with any number of combinations of those toggle switches. This one is a killer pedal. It sounds great, and it's a lot of fun to play around with. Number 3, speaking of Tony Peppers, let's talk about the Peppers Pedals Dirty Tree boost, shall we? Now this one is really more of a traditional boost pedal as opposed to an overdrive, but it's such a great boost pedal that it's kind of hard to, it's really kind of hard to not included in the same conversation, because it seems to be used the same way. Particularly metal players like to use overdrive pedals, which is to boost the front end of a high gain amp. Well, this one was designed exactly with that in mind. You have the DT 33/TC switch there. What that does, it bypasses all the other controls, just goes straight to the level boost. This one is getting revered by a lot of players right now. If you have not checked this one out, you really, really should. I find it to be more useful in some amps than others. It does not seem to like it doesn't seem to like every amplifier out there. But some amps that I don't particularly care for it with, other people disagree with me and seem to think that it's absolutely excellent for that specific amp, which is why I'm not going to mention any of those. Because I want you to try this thing out for yourself with your amp, and you find out for yourself just how awesome this thing is. If you've heard a little bit about Tony Peppers over the last few years, this is the pedal that is really earned him his reputation and his popularity over the last few years. Oh, and by the way, Tony Peppers is a great guy. Number 2, none other than the Boss BD2 Blues Driver. This is quite possibly, it's one of my top 2 favorite overdrive circuits ever. This one came out in 1995 and is quite possibly the most versatile overdrive ever. Of all of the pedal demo videos I've ever done, the one that I did on the Blues Driver is quite possibly one of the most popular gear demos I've ever done. That one still gets a lot of views even today, and it's been several years. It's a really, really versatile pedal. You see this one used across all different genres of music, and it's since expanded into a larger variety of options. This is the original version, the BD2. Again, this one came out in 1995. They have also expanded out to the WAudio version. That's the version that I would probably prefer to be showing you, because that one's pretty kick-ass as well. However, I currently have mine strapped down to a pedal board. And of course, Boss have now also added the JB2 Angry Driver. And if you're not familiar with that pedal, that's the one that they did as a collaboration with JHS pedals. It's kind of a cross between the JHS Angry Charlie, which is a blues driver circuit-based overdrive from JHS. And then they also put the actual blues driver circuit into the JB2, giving you two different versions of blues driver in one pedal and all kinds of versatility in it. That one's killer. Number one is the Fulltone OCD. Probably my all-time favorite overdrive pedal. This one is great as an overdrive. You can also use it as a really, really good sound and distortion. So, don't let the name fool you. Matter of fact, when these, before Fulltone closed their doors, when these were still being made, the box actually said said overdrive / distortion on it. So it was intended to be used for, for both purposes. Fulltone themselves actually came out with a lot of different versions of this. Probably version 1.1 through 1.4 are the most well-known. The 1.4 is, the version 1.4, that's the one that really you see everywhere. Then eventually they came out, they had another one called the 1.7, I believe, which was also really popular. And then eventually they did a germanium version, and they did a couple of other special edition versions, but of the really early ones, the versions 1, 2, and 3, 1 and 2 are the rarest, but version 3, which is what this one is, this seems to be the one that everybody wants. This is the best sounding of the three, according to to the forums and people who are supposedly in the know. Anyway, I like the high gain aspect of this pedal. I think it's it can totally transform any amplifier out there, and these were really, really popular for a reason. And Fulltone recently announced that they are back in business with a new partner of some kind. I don't think they have a product line released yet, but when that day gets here, I'm really excited to see what they have coming. The Fulltone OCD, Obsessive Compulsive Drive. Well, that's it. There's my list of my top favorite overdrive pedals, at least that I own. Though, to be completely honest, you know, the number of overdrive pedals that would be on this list that I don't own, there really isn't that many additions that I would add. However, as any pedal fanatic knows, this list can change on a dime from one day to the next. And if you ask me what my favorite overdrive pedals are again tomorrow, you're likely to get an entirely different list altogether. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And also, don't forget to comment down below and let me know what your favorite overdrive pedal is. Adios!